What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to do this. Yeah, sure. And that's not it. In the same build, it also does this. Yeah. I think I'm a Titan main now. This build might be one of the best builds the game has ever seen, both for DPS and accurate at the same time. It is absolutely insane, and I didn't even mean to even stumble into this build. I was just testing the enhanced 1-2 punch and trying to figure out a new combo that you could possibly do with it. So if we look at what that 1-2 punch enhanced trait is, all it does is increase the duration of the 1-2 punch. So we head over into the game and see what that means. Whenever we proc 1-2 punch by hitting all the pellets, it will now last for 2.7 seconds, which before you could punch 2 times per proccing the perk. So let's see if that is still true. It's still the same 3x it's always been, but in theory you should be able to punch more times now than you could before, just because it lasts longer. As you see, the first time you do melee damage with the perk, it will take the perk away, so it only lasts for 1 punch now, so it kind of defeats the purpose of it lasting longer, right? But this enables the possibility of pairing it with Peregrine Greaves short charge for the first time ever. I've been trying to do this for years and you never could. If we look at normal short charge damage, it hits for those numbers right there. Then with Peregrine Greaves by jumping, it will go up to these numbers. So Peregrine Greaves itself is a 3.66x multiplier to your melee damage. So for the first time ever, we can now combo that with 1-2 punch by simply shooting, sprinting, jumping, then doing the shorter charge, and now it will hit for almost 400,000 on the main number. So that is awesome that we can finally do that. I've been wanting to do that for so long. Now the question is gonna be what short charge is the best to do this with, and it's gonna be void for this aspect right here. That will be doing a lot of stuff for us. The first part being is while you have an overshield or inside the bubble, your grenades will charge faster and you'll have increased melee range and damage. Also, melee final blows will extend the duration of the overshield, and you get 2 shield throws while in the sentinel shield. So now we do the Peregrine 1-2 punch combo, but now with an overshield. As you'll see, the number will now go up to almost 800,000, which is gonna be another 2x melee multiplier. And if you're inside a bubble doing the full combo again, you'll see the numbers go up to 999,999, which is a lot of damage. So we try to figure out what that increase is, because obviously we can't tell with that number. Just doing it with our regular melee, it's gonna be a 3x, just like 1-2 punch. So the further question is, can you combo the overshield and the bubble for an extra 2x and 3x melee damage? And the answer is no. The bubble will override the overshield one, which is obviously the higher one anyway, so that is not that big of a deal. So we have multiple lanes increasing our melee damage. The last thing to add in is a debuff. If you're playing solo, you can use tractor cannon. If you're in a fire team, someone will have tether or one of the multiple void debuffs, and if it's tether or tractor or something like that, it'll be a 30% increase, 1.3x, and if it's one of the void ones, it'll be 1.15 or 15%. So now if we have overshield, tractor cannon, 1-2 punch, and Peregrine Greaves, he's just dead. You can't even see the full number on Carl because he dies from the side numbers. So we do the math with overshield, it should be 28.5x, which is 1.1 million damage. Then with bubble, it should be 42.8x at 1.676 million instantly damage. So you might be thinking, well, that's a really good burst DPS build, but what else does this have to offer? Like, you can only do that once every 50 seconds, and you would be just wrong. So starting off with the shield bash, which is the void short charge, this will also suppress and give us an overshield if we kill the target, which will be pretty easy if you do 1.6 million damage, I think. And the part of the aspect where getting melee final blows with overshield will refresh its duration. We're also using the aspect which will increase the duration of our void effects, in this case overshield. So with that going on, all you have to do is get a short charge final blow, create the overshield, then every melee kill will refresh the timer. And as you may have seen, while you have your overshield, every single melee counts as a void melee, even if you don't have the full charge, which means after doing the initial short charge to proc the overshield, every melee will have that increased range and increased damage of the aspect, which leads me to using this secondary aspect, which will make it so all of our void abilities will put volatile rounds on the target, which will then cause them to explode and give us and our allies health. And you can further combo this with the fragment, which is the bloom one, which makes void ability final blows cause the target to explode. So now we get the overshield from shoulder charge, and every melee is a void melee, which procs both the aspect and the bloom fragment, causing 2 explosions per melee, all of which are doing double damage because we have overshield and refreshing the time on that shield. Then to get our melee back extremely fast, we have bountiful wells and 3 melee well makers from the artifact, which will create 4 void elemental wells on every single melee. And on top of that, we also have melee kickstart, which will give us an extra chunk when we use our shoulder charge. And there is a slight cooldown of how often you can proc elemental well mods, which is like 2 or 3 seconds. So not every single melee will create the 4 elemental wells, but every second, every third will. And as you see, I only have 7 strength, and after 2 procs of the 4 void elemental wells, I pretty much have my shoulder charge again, and with tier 10 I think you would. So now we have that over 1 million damage shoulder charge every like 5 seconds. And to keep it going with all the void elemental wells, we also get our grenade back extremely fast while having the overshield. And I'm going to be using the suppressor grenade for this build for the suppression effect, which I can also do with my shoulder charge. And from the artifact I have this mod right here, which will give me energy to my lowest charged ability when I suppress a target. Further comboed with Echo Exchange, where melee final blows will grant grenade energy. So now we actually get our grenade faster than our melee even, by simply suppressing things and getting all of those elemental wells from the melee hits. So now we have infinite shoulder charges that do over 1 million damage and infinite suppressor grenades, all of which will create 2 explosions each on every single enemy. And to get our super extremely fast, we have hands on. You can use 1 or 2. I think 2 is probably better. And our final fragment slot will be the one where when you're surrounded, you get increased super energy. And finally, the last part of the build, we have 1 more slot available for mods, and you can use elemental ordnance to create 2 void wells on the grenade kills. You can use volatile flow, or you can even use something like well tenacity or font of might. It doesn't really matter. One of the best ones to use is volatile flow, because there's that downtime on the melee well maker wells anyways. So after you use your first melee, there's a few second downtime before you can get the elemental wells again. So you may as well shoot your primary for a bit, then go melee, shoot primary, go melee, back and forth. And the final part of the build is, if you're in a fire team, you don't need tractor cannon because people will be using Heather or something like that. So not only do you have insane burst damage to start off a boss fight, let's say you're doing a raid boss or something like that and the boss survives, you could throw on something like G-Horn or even the Worm Launcher to give you pretty good sustained DPS also. But yeah, I think that is pretty much all there is to say. I mean, one-hitting strike bosses on map version with no modifiers is pretty insane. 1.6 million damage. Then on top of that, it's also one of the best accurate builds I've ever seen. Every single melee, even charged or uncharged, just creates 2 explosions per enemy, which just deletes everything. Then you have pretty much infinite shoulder charge, so you can do that 1.6 million damage combo every like 5 seconds. Then you also have infinite suppressor grenades, which once again create those 2 explosions per kill. So yeah, this is. Anyways, like usual, let me know what you think about this. I should be able to put up a dim loadout in the pinned comment to potentially help you guys set this up on your character a little bit easier. The rest of the video will just be some strike gameplay with this build. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.
Giants hive signatures in